In May 2018, God revealed to me that I had been deceived. He told me to end my essential oil business, tell my customers what happened, and get rid of all my products. But that was not the end. The cost of the decisions I had made for the last few years was even greater than I imagined. If you are a Christian wanting to know if essential oils are safe, this video is for you. If you are a Christian involved in aromatherapy and other modalities of alternative medicine, but you've noticed something might not be quite right, this video is for you. If you are a Christian currently advocating for essential oil products or promoting any modality of energy medicine, I ask that you consider my story before any more time passes. This is what happened. That's me. I'm Meg Grimm. I'm a writer, and I'm going to tell you a story. You may not believe it, but I hope you'll listen anyway. 6 years ago, I was introduced to natural healing remedies through essential oils. In January 2015, I joined one of the large multi-level marketing essential oil companies. From January 2015 through May 2018, I purchased the required amount each month to maintain my ability to sell and earn income. I was hooked by essential oils right away. The most exciting thing about them was that they were pure from God's creation, exactly as God made them. Also, not only was I attracted to the concept of being freed from chemicals and toxins from other products on the market, but I was also experiencing profound healing effects of oils myself. I believed I was being made healthier by consistent use of the oils. They were detoxing my body. Meanwhile, some of the people who had introduced oils to me were associated with a Christian doctor of natural medicine. As a result, I was eventually made aware of incredible testimonies from the practitioner's clients. True miracles, such as healings from cancer. That was attractive to me because at the time, my dog had cancer, and this person believed her protocols could possibly reverse it. She didn't guarantee it, but she told me what she told everybody: there's always hope. So it wasn't difficult for me to get very excited and even obsessed with the concept of natural health care, not just essential oils. As a Christian, I soon believed Satan had infiltrated conventional medicine and was keeping knowledge away from people of the simple, affordable remedies of nature that could actually help them better than man-made products. That was why insurance companies wouldn't cover alternative therapies. Big Pharma was evil, and we all had to fight against it, even breaking the rules a little now and then by telling people essential oils really could heal. You weren't legally allowed to say that, but it was the truth, and people deserved to be told the truth. Well, without a doctor of natural medicine in my upline, I may not have been so easily exposed to many other modalities in alternative medicine, such as muscle testing. But as I look back, I know that exposure to these things was always inevitable. So at my first visit to the doctor of natural medicine myself, who I will call Sally, I was screened by her electrodermal screening machine. After that, I knew that I wanted to become a doctor of natural medicine myself. I wanted to have the incredible knowledge about health that Sally had. I wanted to be able to help people, especially my own family, because we couldn't afford to go to Sally all the time. On top of the price for a screening, a person had to buy all the supplements, oils, and imprints that their body tested for on the machine. After a while, I did begin a certification program that was highly recommended by another practitioner in my area. It was directed by, of course, a Christian. The director often mentioned her faith and talked about God when she spoke. At the end of the program, I was meant to become a board-certified complementary and alternative healthcare practitioner, which was a mouthful, but it was a new title in the field because others, namely Doctor of Natural Medicine, were kind of under fire. However, I would be getting all the same education as a Doctor of Natural Medicine. My title would just be different. That's about the time things started to get weird. To be very brief, I learned a muscle testing technique called sway testing. And before I pursued mastering it, I decided to pray about it. Well, upon doing so, I came across Deuteronomy 18 as well as a blog post by a Christian woman who had discovered that muscle testing was demonic. My eyes were opened, and I was able to renounce Satan before he obtained a deeper foothold in my life through that technique. However, little did I know, he already had a foothold, and he'd had it for a long time, beginning with my gateway drug, if you will, essential oils. When the blog post urged me to repent and renounce Satan, I did so, not really expecting there to have been a demon, but there was a demonic presence, and as much as it shocked me, I commanded it to leave in the name of Jesus, and it did. I hadn't known it was there because it was lying low, being subtle. No Christian is going to put up with knowing there's a familiar spirit working with them. So Satan must gradually condition us to accept occultic things as the way God works. Then we become okay with it and we go along with it. It takes time, but Satan is patient. The Bible tells us that he prowls around like a roaring lion, which means fiercely hungry, seeking for who he can devour. After that experience, I was shocked and deeply confused. I thrust myself into what became a 4-month period of intense, nonstop research. Deep confusion hung over me every day. I know now it was spiritual attack, but at the time, I assumed that the answers were far from me because I didn't have a medical background. Clarity came only when I was willing to accept that God had revealed muscle testing was in fact demonic. That meant all of it. As it turned out, muscle testing was a nickname for something called applied kinesiology, which shows up in many modalities of alternative medicine, including even chiropractic. It didn't make sense to me that so many professionals, including Christians, were using quote-unquote muscle testing if it was occultic. But the same night that I read the blog post, God had also led me to study Deuteronomy 18, 9 through 14. When you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not learn to imitate the detestable ways of the nations there. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. Because of these same detestable practices, the Lord your God will drive out those nations before you. You must be blameless before the Lord your God. The nations you will dispose listen to those who practice sorcery or divination, but as for you, the Lord your God has not permitted you to do so. These descriptions sound archaic and obviously demonic, but the word occult refers to secret knowledge, and most of the practices in alternative medicine, including muscle testing, are nothing more than repackaged divination that claims to provide knowledge. Leaving muscle testing behind was easy, and quitting my school program and even letting all that money I had spent be wasted was also okay with me. And afterward, I planned to just go back to my safe, natural, God-given essential oils and focus only on growing my essential oils business. Surely oils that were found in nature were not spiritually dangerous. But little did I know, there was a lot more the Lord wanted to reveal to me. I want to preface the rest of this story by saying that not all practices of alternative medicine are spiritually dangerous, and some have more danger than others. The questionable ones that I will mention fall under the term energy medicine. Anything that is part of energy medicine is an occult influence modality. There are too many to list, but main ones you will recognize are acupuncture, some chiropractic, reflexology, and Reiki. Energy medicine is based on the existence of a non-physical energy of the universe, and healing allegedly takes place through manipulation or cooperation with this energy. Bodies are said to have a natural flow of energy. It is called many things. The more science-sounding term is biofield. When the energy is altered in some way, practitioners of these therapies rebalance it to restore health. The concept is supposedly based on laws of quantum physics, not biology and chemistry. It is a completely different disease model than what conventional healthcare uses today. In the end, energy medicine leads people to an occultic, pantheistic worldview. We are all connected. We are all part of this divine energy that flows through everything. Therefore, we are divine. We are God. Satan's lie to Eve was, "You will be like God, having knowledge and power." Even if Christians do not go so far as to knowingly accept this, they may still be working with demons if they are working with this so-called energy at all. Demons can oppress Christians. They can put them in bondage. And we know that disobedience to God hurts our relationship with Him. So when I went to present my first essential oils class, after finding out the truth about muzzle testing, I knew something was wrong. I realized that as I was speaking, I was using language that had been the language I had used all along, which was repeating the things I'd heard others say, but it reflected the same pantheistic New Age doctrine that I now understood was anti-Christian, and it was dangerous and wrong. For example, in classes, I used to say things like, God made the oils in the plant to help the plants heal by repairing their imbalances, and He also made the oils so that they could repair imbalances in our bodies as well. Note the concept of balancing, like yin and yang. If unknowingly promoting Eastern religious philosophies was not bad enough, I had also been contributing to the deception in the same way that had originally hooked me. I was using Christian language because I was a Christian. Like I had heard others do, I would urge people to use oils by saying things like, God gave us the tools that we need to help our bodies repair. We need to use the things that He gave us. Healing is what God has for us. He wants us to be healthy. He has given us tools like essential oils, and we have to take the initiative. We need to treat our bodies as the temple of the Lord. In other words, I was saying we should not poison ourselves with chemicals from prescription drugs. We must look instead to God's creation. Note, the emphasis was on the creation that God had made, not really God Himself, though of course I gave God the credit and acknowledged that He was our healer because I was a Christian. But that's really just part of how Christians deceive other Christians. So in addition to selling people on New Age concepts through essential oils, I was also sending another message. I had learned that it was wise to distrust medical professionals. I didn't really say it, and I wasn't being misleading on purpose, but the message I had received and was sending out myself was that natural medicine is superior. Doctors don't really care about you. They're just giving you pharmaceuticals that cause side effects, and they're not fixing what actually caused the problem. Natural health professionals are the ones that care. They give you things that actually make you well. You should trust them, and their methods, and their philosophies. While I was standing there teaching that last class, I was horrified. I had unknowingly been helping to spread New Age ideas about energy all along. This was no place for a Christian. I decided that before I ever talked about essential oils again, I had to relearn them in light of what I now knew. I would need to completely change my whole business and all of its marketing. I remember thinking, at least it's not as big of a deal as if I had become a doctor of natural medicine and then found out about this stuff, and then I would have to tell all my clients that the methods I had used to help them were all bogus. How awful that would be. Well, no sooner did I think that than God revealed to me that I actually didn't need to change my essential oil business. I needed to end it. And I needed to get rid of all my oils and everything having to do with them. And I did have to tell my team and my customers what had happened and that I'd been deceived. This is how it happened. I was reading an account in 2 Chronicles 33, the story of the evil king Manasseh of Judah, who later had a change of heart. Like the typical evil kings, he had rebuilt the high places, erected altars to Baal, and made Asherah poles. He practiced divination and witchcraft, consulted spiritists, and sacrificed his children to the fire. But later Manasseh repented. He got rid of all these things and told the people to serve the Lord, the God of Israel. He wrote a record of his sins, a confession, trying to warn others not to do as he had done. From those parts of the account, God revealed to my heart that I was to get rid of the things that had been worshipped to other gods in my life, anything and everything from the essential oil company. I was also to write a confession to warn others not to do as I had done, which I did send to my whole team and customers. But if that wasn't humbling enough, there was still more. I asked God if I could sell or give away my remaining essential oil products to anyone who could benefit from them. Instead of throwing them away, there were hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of products in my home, besides books and business materials. But the Lord said no. For although King Manasseh had reformed his life, he had failed to utterly deface and destroy the images of the false gods that he had made. The law for Israel was to destroy such with fire. As a result, Manasseh's son Amon came along later, found and resurrected the images. Although Manasseh had done an about-face and used whatever power he had as king to try to reform the people whom he had corrupted, he was only able to bring them from their false gods, but not from their high places. You see, the people worshipped the Lord God only now, but they sacrificed to God in the high places. That's where the pagans worshipped their gods. This was not living in obedience to God, who had commanded them to worship him in the temple. This was instead using a demonic ritual to worship God. By the way, that is what Christians are doing when we practice occult techniques but claim to have Christianized them. For some examples, praying while doing yoga, or asking God for the answer when muscle testing, or glorifying essential oils as miracles, attributing abilities to them that can only come from God, such as forgiveness. All of this is disobedience. It is idolatry. I call it worshiping God at the high places. So, as soon as I understood God's directive, I determined to burn everything. When I made the decision to do so, it didn't feel foolish or dramatic. I was suddenly set free, more free than I had felt in years. You would have thought it would be painful to watch all that money go up in flames, but when we do something in obedience to the Lord, he completely changes our perspective and heart. But there was still pain yet to come, for there is always a cost for sin. So getting back to King Manasseh, no matter how hard he may have tried, he could not carry the reformation of the people as far as he had carried their corruption. Even when we do all we can to recover the people that have, by our example, been seduced and drawn away from God, we may never be able to recover them completely. That is what I saw happen to some friends of mine. Because of me, they were introduced to energy medicine, and when I tried to tell everyone I was wrong, I realized it was more difficult to convince them of that than it had been to lead them into energy medicine in the first place. A lot of them believed my confusion was from Satan, not energy medicine. Some of my relationships changed, maybe for good. Since that time, I've heard stories of terrible things happening to people who have become involved in practices of energy medicine. Everything from health issues to demonic bondages, even suicide. I may never know how far the seeds I planted myself have traveled, but this is the cost of my disobedience. There are always consequences for sin. In the next video, I'll go into more detail about the ways essential oils specifically relate to the occult. I'm sure you're wondering to what degree and exactly how they fall under this energy medicine umbrella. I'm currently writing a memoir about this research, set to be available mid-year. Although I'm an indie publisher myself, I'm hoping for this one to find a Christian publisher with more reach who would be interested in it. I'm praying this warning for Christians can go further. Please look for this book, and your prayers are appreciated.